please, and lead us in the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Is there a motion to approve the agenda? Mr. Hines has made the motion to approve the agenda. Mr. Goodwell seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, the VSBA Art Contest participants and winners. Dr. Alston.
Madam Chairman, we have, as you can see, quite a bit of art on display this evening, and we have some certificates for students that are in attendance. This is a reflection of two things, in my opinion: a continued investment by the school board in our arts program and other opportunities for students above the core academic areas, and then also the efforts of our students, guided by our teachers. I mean, if you've not taken the time to look at the artwork, I would encourage everybody to look at the quality of some of this work. It's astounding. These have been judged locally and are going on to the regional competition, which will be on April 25th. In Bristol, so that will be the regional competition, which represents 19 school divisions. So we're going to recognize some students this evening, and Madam Chair, if you want to hand out certificates, that would be great. For elementary, from Rose Hill, we had a tie for third place, and that'd be Connor McVeigh and Madeline Flandry. And if you want to come up, Miss Jessie will hand you a certificate. Are they here? Second place from Rose Hill, we have Gracie Hedrick. Gracie, if you want to stay up here, we'll take a picture with all the elementary, and then we'll. And first place from Rose Hill, we have Aubrey Balin Womack. So congratulations, ladies. All right, ladies, you can sit down. Thank you. Congratulations. Nice work. For middle school, we had participants. I'll turn my back on again, so buckle up. Eva Adams, Lila Ketron, Oasis Langley, Michaela Long, Nathan Smith, and Brooke Welsh. Eva and Lily are from Pennington, and Nathan is from Pennington, and from Elydale we had Oasis, Michaela, and Brooke. So are they here? Okay, third place for middle school, we had Madison Green from Elydale. Second place, Sophie Lawson from Elydale. And first place from Jonesville, we had Emma Forker. Freddie, can you get a picture from back there? You're on TV. Congratulations, ladies. Thank you. In the high school category, we had Curtian Arnold and Leanne Gambrill from Lehigh participants. Are they here? Third place at the high school, we had Isabella Schwartz from Thomas Walker. Second place, Jordan Shepard from Lehigh. And first place, Sydney Ray Seal from Thomas Walker. Gracie, could you come back up and let's get a picture of Freddie before you run off? Sorry to bring you back up, please. Congratulations, Tiffany. Yes, ma'am. I'm going to say Gracie and Aubrey. Aubrey, you want to come back up and get a picture? Sorry. We'll get you together. Congratulations. Again, amazing work by students. If you've not looked at this, take a look at it. And also next month we've got Kaleidoscope. If you're not familiar with that, it'll be at Lehigh. The date for Kaleidoscope is May 3rd from 5 to 9 at Lehigh. So if you want to see some amazing work by our students and investments of time by our staff and teachers, come by and look at it. It's amazing what goes on. The next thing is, I see Mr. Page here. Miss Belcher had indicated that we weren't going to have any chorus students here tonight, but if you're a chorus student, would you raise your hand? Okay, we'll be recognizing some chorus students tonight. So, Mr. Page, if you want to come up, if you want to speak briefly, I've got a list of students that I'll read, but just so you all know, these are our chorus teachers, Mr. Page and Carrie Belcher, and they do an incredible job with our students. And you can tell by the smiles on their faces when they're in class, and again, an investment that the school board made and continues to make sure that our students have opportunities besides just the core academic classes. So we're going to be recognizing all district chorus. We have a couple of All Virginia High School as well as All Virginia Middle School. So I'm going to read off some names. We had planned on doing this recognition next month, so the certificates, we'll get them back to the school. So, okay. Mr. Page, you got anything you want to add?
I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight and to recognize these students. Our students put in a lot of work, and they really work hard. This year is the first year we've had 5 students make it to state. We had 2 middle school and an 8th grader in the middle school, and we had 2 high schoolers make it. So that's the first time, as far as me and Carrie know, that we've ever had more than 1 or 2 students make it to state. So we were blessed with that this year, and we thank you for all your support. And you know, on behalf of Ms. Belcher and myself, we're proud of these students. You know, they come in, they're some of our best students that work hard every day, and we're very, very proud of them. And Ms. Belcher, she couldn't be here tonight. She's a little under the weather. So thank y'all.
Well, if you want to hang out up here, what we'll do is we'll bring everybody up that's here. We have from Thomas Walker, we have all district, Miranda Moore. When I say your name, you can come up if you're here. Selena Parsons, if you're not here, of course you won't come here. Sarah Janeway from Thomas Walker. From Lehigh, all district chorus, Travis Addington, Susan Bledsoe, Madison Combs, Bethany Davis, Brooke Davis, Caroline Horner, Sarah Johnson, Haley McAllister, Will McQueen, Jelena Parks, Sydney Peters, Gabrielle Ramirez, Emily Scott, Carly Shoemaker, Emily Wheeler, and Isabella White. So again, all district chorus. It's astounding to me to have the confidence to go and do that, to perform at that level, and then be recognized for that. So congratulations for those efforts. So Jonesville Middle, we have all district chorus, Emma Hobbs and Haley Parsons. From Pennington Middle, all district chorus, Liam Eichenberger, Elias Eisenminger, Sam Martin, and Nicole Smith. Liam, is it Eichenberger? Yes. Okay. Again, all district middle school. Again, talk about the confidence of young people and talent also. It's amazing. So congratulations. then all Virginia middle school chorus, we have Liam Eichelberg. So he is all Virginia, so all state chorus middle school. So congratulations.
Haley Parsons made it also.
And I was going to say, Carly Shoemaker and Haley Parsons were all districts, so congratulations. The high school, Bethany Davis and Miranda Moore. So again, those are all state high schools. And I asked Ms. Belcher, I said, is there anything that you can do for us to sample something that you did? And she said no. So she got you off the hook. You're welcome if you want to, but...
I should have had her sing the pledge.
Or the national anthem, I mean...
Bethany, you want to sing the national anthem?
That's fine.
But congratulations, Mr. Page, again. I certainly appreciate what you do. Board members, anything you want to add? Or
I think it's fantastic. I'm very proud of all y'all. You represented Lee County very well. A lot of people talk about how well y'all sounded in your concerts and stuff, so.
Thank you.
Very disciplined, from what I understand. You have to be very disciplined.
Yes, ma'am. To make it to middle school state, they take only 400 out of 900 auditions. So it's very competitive. And out of the all-state for the high school, they take 4 spots for each vocal part for the all-state from each district. So it's very, very competitive, and these guys done very good work. So thank you.
Thank you.
Will they be entertaining at the retired teachers' dinner?
to be determined. Congratulations again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It gives me great pleasure to announce that Lee County Schools are featured in the 23rd Annual VSBA Showcase for Success Directory. Lee County is one of 56 school divisions from across the Commonwealth that are included in this. The theme for this year is Career, College, and Life Ready. And these highlight diverse programs. And the 3 programs that were included, one at each of the 3 levels, the Dryden Elementary Book Club, which we had a presentation on last month, the Lehigh Help Desk, where the students help with the Chromebook, and also then the Pennington Middle School advocacy groups. So, and as far as I know, this is the first time that Lee County has been included in this directory.
And just showcasing what we do well in Lee County and what our students do well. I mean, it's reflective of talent and effort. So.
And I'm seeing a couple of principals back there. You may want to think of some things that could be included next year. I'm sure there's something at your school that is noteworthy that you do. All right. The floor is now open for public comment. Keep in mind, remember, there is a limit of 5 minutes. And you may not mention students, employees, or individuals by name for any other purpose than introduction. And again, this is not a question and answer session. So the floor is now open. Seeing no one approach the mic, board comments. Mr. Hines, do you have any comments?
Not to say that hope everybody has a good spring break next week and travel somewhere, travel safe, get back on the weekend when it's appropriate.
Ms. Fanning?
Yes, congratulations to everybody that was recognized, and of course those that were for whatever reason. And a big thank you to all the teachers and whoever. I'm sure you had volunteers or whatever to make this possible. It's, you know, a lot of times at the end of the day when your job is done, you just want to go home and that be the end of it. So I commend you and thank you that you take time out of your schedule and out of your life to make these kids be able to better themselves. Who knows, we may have a Lee County American Idol in a few years, you know. But I really appreciate it. I really do.
Mr. Harvard? Mr. Kidwell?
Yes, ma'am. I want to mention some players that TW got mentioned in the All Southwest Boys. Caleb Urey made second team, and the girls, Lincoln Burke most promising underclassmen. Make mention of those two. Congratulate everyone that's here tonight and the accomplishments that they've gone to state. I think it's great.
And again, I'll offer my congratulations too, and wish those that are going on with the art contest in particular good luck. We came back with a second place winner last year, so hopefully maybe that second can go to first this time. And of course, if they do win first place, their drawing is displayed in the Capitol, the General Assembly building, and then also in the VSBA office. And after the spring break, unfortunately, SOL testing starts. So I wish the students good luck on the test and the teachers during that time. Is there any objection to approving the consent agenda as listed? Hearing no objections, the consent agenda is approved as listed. Any reports of the board? Mr. Superintendent?
First up, we've got with us this evening Ballad Health. We have Jenny Hall and Brian Dean with us. We're going to talk about telemedicine real quick, and talk to you about what we're considering. So if you want to come up. For some context, what we're looking at doing, this is a service that we talked to Ballad and Stone Mountain Health about for a couple of years, being able to partner together to serve our students through our nurses' office, that they would be able to access a nurse practitioner or a physician's assistant and be able to get prescriptions taken care of, basically a doctor's visit done at the school, and then that way if a parent has to pick up a child, then they don't have to schedule a doctor's visit. So this is one of the things that we're considering. I plan to bring to the board next month for consideration. We want to go ahead and let you ask questions of our staff. Mr. Dean and Ms. Hall appreciate their efforts. They went over and visited a very successful program in Kingsport. So that's Ballad's had that program up and running for 4 years, and Ms. Orles, 4 years.
Thank you very much. Madam Chairman and board members, my name is Debbie Boyles. I am the Corporate Director for Virtual Health with Ballad Health. I was very excited when Dr. Austin reached out to us about an interest in our school-based telehealth program. We're currently in 66 schools throughout our region in Tennessee, where we provide urgent care services to not only the students, but the faculty and staff, and in some cases to family members if the principals allow them to come into the schools. There's about 10 different use case scenarios that we'll see the kids for: cold, flu, sinusitis, UTIs, strep, those kind of things. The way the process works is we have a dedicated nurse practitioner that sees all of the kids. As we add more sites, we're in 66 schools right now. We're adding 5 more school districts for next year. We'll be at 108 schools just in Tennessee, and I'm looking forward to eventually getting this going in Virginia once some language rules are changed for what we can do in schools from a tele perspective. The way the process works is there is no cost to the school district. We provide the technology that links back to our nurse practitioner. As we add more schools, we will have to add more providers, but we work during the school hours, so from 8 to 3 typically is when we have somebody available. If we have a faculty member that needs to be after that, when school is over, we do allow that to happen. We don't just cut it off. We register the kids through the system. We work with the school nurses, do all the training. As I mentioned, we provide the technology. We also provide all testing equipment to do a flu or a strep test. So all of that is provided through our service. We're looking at this as a way for you to allow your kids to stay in school and keep them there and only leave when necessary. Parents or caregivers have the ability to be a part of that visit, either in person or virtually. And we work with insurance companies so that we will bill the insurance appropriately for a primary care visit. So we've really worked hard in Tennessee to make it a primary care visit as opposed to an urgent care visit pay. We charge the parents their copay. They get that billed separately. We don't ask anything up front. They do have to sign a consent form. It has to be in writing. We don't do verbal consents. But the technology will allow a patient to be presented. The nurse can listen to the hearts, see an ear, look at the back of the throat. And then we have the protocols in place for when it's appropriate to do a flu test or a strep test. So we're really excited about the opportunity, and I'm here to answer any kind of questions that you might have on how the process works. We did arrange so that they could come see what we were doing in Kingsport. The process is really well. This year, we've had, well, I guess through the end of March, close to 600 patients or students that had been seen between students and faculty. So that's 600 that didn't have to leave campus to be able to go get access to healthcare. So we're very excited about what we can bring to Lee County, and looking forward to working with you if this is something that you guys decide to move forward with.
And just a couple of things. This is an optional thing that we made available to parents. They'll have the option of doing this. If they choose not to participate, they will not have to. It's just a service that will be provided, and of course, this is not intended to be competition with local doctors. It's to provide something during the day that they can carry over those records after hours. So this has been a great conversation with Ballad. So it will not take the place of the health department. Is Ms. McPherron here by chance? Had talked to Dr. Cantrell. Michelle McPherron may have been here, but the health department will still serve the community in the capacity they do, and they're aware of this and very much support it. So I know you have a question.
On the technology side,
Yes.
what's required, and is it something that we already have in place, or is it something you all provide?
We will provide the technology, so it'll be a computer-based, software-based application. There'll be an electronic stethoscope, an electronic otoscope, general exam camera. We provide all of that. What we will have, what we will ask is access to your Wi-Fi network, and then space within the nurses' stations in each school. So, and this would be something we would put in every school. You identify where you want it. Typically, we are working within the school nurse's office for these. We are, just so you know, looking at piloting a behavioral health application in some of our Tennessee schools for next year. We know that's a big need across all school districts, and we're trying to figure out how we can help manage those situations as well, either from a crisis management access or ongoing counseling sessions that may not be available in communities. And so we're looking at how we can expand this out to other areas as well.
Will whatever treatment you give, will it be provided to their primary care?
Yes.
physician?
So the way that it will work is at the end of the session, if a parent is involved in that session, they will hear exactly what the treatment plan will be. If they're not able to participate, we will send, the nurse practitioner now is calling the parents and giving them an overview of what the treatment plan is, any kind of medication that's called in. The notes are typed up, and a copy of that is sent to the primary care provider if we have one on record, that for that continuum of care. We want to make sure that we're not taking away from that relationship, but we want them to be part of that. And so we provide that. We also send a note home, a physical copy home to the parents along with a survey, just so we can get, understand what people like about it. But we want everybody to be involved and know exactly what's going on.
Okay, so let's do a little scenario.
Okay.
Okay, let's say that there's a student in a class and she tells her teacher, my throat's hurt. So they go to the school nurse.
Correct.
Okay, there's not a nurse practitioner there,
No,
correct?
correct.
Does she call then, or she just sort of does a?
So she would make the determination whether she thought it warranted needing to be seen. If there's
So
a
it makes
fever, the school nurse is still the one determining whether the need needs to occur.
Okay,
The
so
school-
just being there does not actually make it a visit.
No,
You know what I'm
no.
saying?
So,
That's
yeah,
why I want to
and,
make sure everybody's clear of it.
yeah, and even though we have filled out forms and signed consents, the nurse would call the parent and say, I have little Janie in the office, she's complaining about her throat hurting, I've looked at it, it is really red. You know, we have tele as an option, or do you want to come pick her up and take her to the doctor? So that's the scenario that we want to work with. If she says, yeah, we want to do tele, then they would reach to my coordinator and say, we have little Sally in here. We will verify that we do have paperwork on her, as well as a signed consent form. If we do not have paperwork or a signed consent form, we'll reach out to that parent or guardian and say, hey, if you want them to be seen, we need to have this completed and faxed or emailed back to us before we can actually see them.
We talked about not, so kids wouldn't be sent home, but if there is something that is contagious.
Yes, then the recommendation, that would be part of the plan, was that they would need to be home and follow the normal course. So if, be on antibiotics 24 hours, no fever. So we still follow those same protocols. We're just virtually beaming in the practitioner so that they can get seen on site, as opposed to having to have somebody come pick them up, take them to a clinic, wait, and then go pick up meds. So this way, we also call in medication to whatever pharmacy has been identified, so that they can come pick the patient up or the child up, take them, go get meds, and then go home. So it kind of saves them a little bit of time and
So
effort.
student and all staff.
Yes. And if appropriate, and if the principals will allow it, we can do siblings and parents as well. So we're not limiting it just to we haven't limited it to just the students or the faculty. We leave that up to the school districts and to each individual school as to what they'll allow.
And to that end, we'll work through that, but one of my concerns was the demand that we put on our nurses. So that's why Ms.
Yeah.
Hall went over and saw.
Yeah,
So
so-
if you all want to chime in at some point, or if you all want direct questions, however, the floor is open.
I've got a
I'll read.
question. So you get a kid in there that's got the flu, what's the step that you take? Anybody, I mean, from the school standpoint, I don't know. Mine's had the flu this year like everybody else is in August.
So from a tele standpoint, if we give them the ability to test for type A and type B flu, and if it's positive, then we would write the recommendation medication for them to go get.
So you don't actually treat them?
No, we do not treat them there. We just diagnose and then send them to the appropriate place for.
Right, because my question was if we were treating.
No, we do not provide any kind of medication.
Okay.
Now, I've worked in a school district in Texas that applied to have a Class D pharmacy. Now, it was one campus, and they had their own Class D pharmacy. It was a lot of work and headache, but they could dispense medication through our pharmacists that we were working with.
Oh, thank you.
I wouldn't recommend that. Like I said, but this was a very small community. There was no pharmacy in town, and they took it upon them
Right.
to do that, to help the members of the community, so.
I guess my next question, would be, does this open us up to a liability in any way or anything?
We're going to work through the contract, and that's why we'll have top priority. We want to see the contract from Ballad. And we'd like to have it by next board meeting in May or June, but, we're trying to get this in place by August, if it's viable. We want to make sure that everything is T's crossed and I's dotted before we bring it to you, but wanted you to have the opportunity to ask questions before we went down this path.
You mentioned that you would be, maybe charging a co-pay through the insurance. What if they don't have insurance?
If they don't have insurance, we have a flat rate of $49 that we would charge them. I've been asked by other school districts about a sliding scale. We haven't gone to that extent yet, because the other thing that we do is if somebody doesn't have insurance, we try to work with them on getting on Medicaid, CHIP, whatever the case may be. So we will actually help with resources if needed to try to get them on some type of insurance.
Mr. Dean, Ms. Hall, is there anything you want to add?
Just please keep in mind when you're thinking about this program, about the kids that don't have the resources to go to the doctor, they may not have a vehicle or otherwise. This may provide medical care for those. So just keep that in mind. We do see that a lot, that their parents either don't have means to take them or just don't. So this could help a lot of kids out.
I agree.
And it's a very thorough process.
It is.
We watched the model
Yeah.
patient came in, and we watched them walk all the way through the process, and she probably can speak more about the technology, but I was amazed at how well everything showed up, looking in the ears, the eyes, the nose, the throat. They can put it on your skin and see a rash. I mean, it was amazing what they could do. And call in a prescription, you just pick the child up, pick it up, and go home and start.
Excited to have a partnership with Ballad, excited about being able to provide an opportunity to our community and to our students and staff, so that's
Yes.
exciting on several fronts. Any other questions?
Just one more thing. One of the things that we have tried to do too is actually have our nurse practitioner go out to the schools, meet the nurses in person, work with them, and have the ability that if they're there seeing kids in person that particular day, that if a telepatient came in, that we could get them out. So from a technology standpoint, being able to get out of the firewall, to be able to do virtual visits to other schools as they were seeing patients outside. So we're really looking at, and we'll really work with you on what your needs are. Some school districts have problems with school physicals, and so we're trying to figure out how we can get Ashley out to do some in-person things like that to help facilitate and provide services to patients that might not be able to get it otherwise.
Stacy, Ely, and Ms. Boyles have been instrumental in pulling this together, so certainly appreciate you being here this evening. Any other questions? All right, anything else you all want to add?
I know we just talked to the nurse practitioner that day, and they focused. They said they want to keep the kids in school.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were not, just because you see me doesn't mean I'm going to say you need to go home. If they thought you can stay at school, they would tell you that.
And I know that there's a lot of articles out there about telehealth adding to the overuse of antibiotics, and we do not, that's the last thing that she wants to do. So if it turns out that she doesn't think antibiotics are appropriate, she will let everybody know. If we have children that show up, and we've had as a scenario, a couple of kids that have come in multiple times that saying that throat hurts, they test them, they're negative for strep. After about the second time, then it's the recommendation, hey, maybe you need to go in and have it cultured. We don't do that, but that would be the recommendation. So she's not going to overprescribe.
So you don't do, like the strip, you don't do a throat culture?
We don't do it, no.
Just a swab.
Just a swab. So, and we have the technology that we're using from the testing equipment has been very accurate. We've kind of changed that around, but have not had very many false positives that I'm aware of.
All right, I gotta ask one more question.
Okay.
Just for fun. You got a kid that comes once a week, says my head hurts, my throat hurts. Are you gonna charge them or their parents every time this happens? Because it does happen a lot.
That's why the parent or guardian gets contacted before a visit ever occurs.
So regardless of what the kid's saying.
Regardless of what the kid says, the parent has to give a verbal okay, even though we have a signed consent form. That guardian has to give a verbal okay that is okay for them to be seen for that exact reason, because we do have kids, we all know, that show up on a weekly or daily basis that say, I don't feel good today, my head hurts, and we don't want to overburden the parents with multiple visits that aren't needed. So.
Right, and our nurses will screen those too. They screen
So,
those.
Correct me if I'm wrong, there's actual guidelines
Yes.
that are given to the nurses
Yes.
that they have to follow before
Yes.
we contact the nurse.
Right, but you don't send them a bill mail.
No.
Oh, no.
And we work with the school nurses to make sure that they get their CLIAs, and we provide all of that, and we help them do their CLIA training, so, and give them the policies on what's appropriate, what's not, how to test. We train them on how to use the technology, so we want to make sure that this is a win-win for everybody, not only your staff, but for the parents and the kids themselves.
So Ms. Hall, do you see this as a big burden to nurses with what you saw?
I don't.
Increased workload?
The increased workload will be worth the kids getting treated. The ones that you see that never get treated, they come in time and time again still sick, truly sick. The extra work will be worth it.
All right.
Thank
Thank you all.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome to hang around. Thank you for being here. Next, we've got the Kingsport Times News drawing cards. Again, this is the students who have been published. This is the write-on students at Jonesville Middle, and again, published authors. And then the drawing card list from Dryden, Elydale, and Rose Hill. So our students continue to be published as well as recognized at school board meetings. So recognized at the school level on these awards at this point. Schools with the highest percentage of attendance. Last month we had second place was Elydale and first place was Jonesville. So we continue to track chronic absenteeism for the year as well as daily attendance. And overall, you can see it's amazing when you got 3 schools, almost 4 schools within 1% of each other on attendance. So second place Elydale, Jonesville still at first, but it's fractions of a percent. So hats off to Miss Mooney and to Miss Belcher for their continued jaunt for the first place. I don't know if you've been to
Y'all need to
Jonesville.
battle it out.
And all the schools have taken different perspectives on this, but Miss Belcher at Jonesville, they've got it's a bar graph up. I'm sure it's got some mathematical context to it too, but and they show the different grade levels and where they are, and I mean, it's highly competitive there.
Do you think some of those things that y'all been, your little strategies, do you think they're really helping? I know each school kind of has their own thing. I saw Pennington Middle, you get to write your name on a brick, and what's some of the things that you've done, Stacy, that has really helped?
Well, like we've done, Big Keep in the Park, Big Let's Go to the Park for good attendance, and we've done a dance during the one block of school, and then just some little treats and things of that nature. But they keep and we're highly competitive in everything, so they like to see if the 5th grade's winning or the 6th grade's winning. So 7th grade, they keep checks on that bar graph to see who's winning.
That's great. What about you, Miss Mooney? What do you find?
What we have done that seems to be working is at the end of every 9 weeks, we get the ones who have perfect attendance, and we'll give you the prizes out to those. But we also have done trips. We've taken them to the movies, those that had perfect attendance. We've taken them to the park across the street. Just different things like that. But the students, whenever the first group went on the trip, it piqued everybody else's interest to want to try to be there to go on the second trip. So, and it's not a lot of cost to the school to be able to provide that.
That's great.
Do they know how close it is to be at the top?
They don't know how competitive I am. It's killing me right now. I might keep her trophy for a little while.
Yeah, I ain't giving it to her. So.
Well, you two have a tug of war or something.
That's right.
Next, we have the enrollment updates as of the end of March, which of course was payday, so we ended up at 3,003, which is more than we budgeted, so we ended up with a little more revenue than we expected. Now, keep in mind that's about $24,000, so it's not going to be astronomical, but we ended up with a little bit more state revenue, but it's better to have more than less. So good news on that front. We tracked it all year and continue to track that going into next school year. Operations update, Mr. Early and his team continue to work on buildings, maintain what we've got, and try to move forward with facilities that we are struggling with, some roof leaks and a variety of things. We're continuing to work with contractors to make sure that we get those addressed. Update summer school and extended school year, June 3rd through June 20th. Keep in mind that we will anticipate going to the Monday through Thursday 10-hour days, so school will be open in those days. So we'll be on those schedules at that point.
That's
so
high school only.
Yes. It's for, an extended school year for special education needs, IEPs. But that will be at Lehigh and Thomas Walker from 8 to 2, Monday through Thursday. And again, details are up here. It's for credit recovery, and I'm not going to read that to you. Any questions? Next up, we've got a public notice that will be in the Powell Valley News and Lee Daily Register. I anticipate putting this out early next week. For the past couple of years, we've been disposing of surplus property, the items that are not being used. So we come to you on a regular basis, anything over $500, we get your permission to dispose of. So there are numerous items at this point that we've made several efforts to dispose of on auction and have not been able to do so. So those items, per school board policy, we can declare those no value and dispose of them. Before we take those to a landfill, what we want to do, since were purchased with taxpayer property, we're going put a notice out at schools on in this instance, going to be Wednesday, that we're going to set items that have been declared no value are going to be set outside Thomas Walker under the covered area on the west end of the building until Monday. And it's basically first come, first served, be able to pick its furniture and a variety of miscellaneous items that have not sold. We will declare them no value, set them out there, and make them available to the public, and if they're there on Monday, then we will take them to the landfill. So we'll make that notice in both on the website, on social media, as well as both publications on the internet, but both entities, and make sure that that's out publicly. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. Any questions? Madam Chair?
Action discussion items. A, school board policy, IICA-BR, approval of field trips.
Administration's recommending a update to this policy. When we brought the policies over from the old LC policies into the current format, we were charging $2 a mile for field trips. So we have tracked that for a period of time and are recommending that we change that to the mileage rate that's set by the IRS, which in this instance is 58 cents starting January 1st. That helps us cover the cost of the wear and tear on the buses as well as the fuel. $2 in our opinion is a bit excessive, so we're recommending reducing that, as well as clarifying that for athletics and co-curricular competitions such as FBLA, we have career and technical recognitions we were going to do tonight, but they're actually in Virginia Beach and state competitions, so good news on that front. We will not charge mileage for those, but they will be responsible for the driver's pay. We clarified a statement there, the driver's pay will be calculated on the driver's hourly rate. And if they drive, if they're going for a 5-day trip and only drive 2 days, then those 3 days that they're there on site, can't do anything else, we'll pay them their hourly rate 4 hours a day.
Have they been paid before?
Inconsistently. In some instances, yes, in some instances, no, but typically hotel meals, and that's covered, of course, as part of a per diem allowance, but some have been paid, some haven't, and that's just been very inconsistent. We're trying to clarify this in policy and make sure that it's carried out administratively. So the administration recommends approval.
So this is like what teachers would have to come up with the money to go on a field trip?
Yes, ma'am. For example, if you had a club or something that you wanted to take on an extra trip and you wanted to go to the, I don't know, something in Pigeon Forge, then this would be the mileage rate that would be charged just to cover the cost of that, because it's above and beyond what we typically provide. And this has been inconsistently collected, and so we just want to make sure that it's a reasonable rate first, and then make sure it's more consistent. Any questions?
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we change it from $2 to 58 cents.
I'll second.
Fannin makes the motion to approve an update to Lee County School Board Policy IICA-BR, approval of field trips. Mr. Kidwell seconds. Any more discussion?
So if this is passed, this is going to fix the problem with not paying drivers that go set 3 days on the field trip?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
It's the right thing to do, but it's also Fair Labor Standards Act, making sure
Well, it
we're
is right.
definitely, making sure we're definitely in compliance.
You figure with $2 a mile, that could maybe even not make a child not be able to go on a field trip. That's a lot.
All those in favor of approving this policy, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Is there a motion on item B?
I move that we approve disposal of surplus property per SBPDN disposal of surplus items.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Hunt makes the motion to approve the disposal of surplus property per SBPDN disposal of surplus items. Mrs. Fannin seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Action on item C.
Make a motion on item C.
Mr. Kidwell makes the motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Ms. Fannin seconds. Any discussion? To issue a request for proposal for the following bids on coal, paper, pest control, propane, and student services related bids. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Item C. You might want to.
I don't have to speak to this, that's all right. Administration is recommending that we recognize 3 businesses this year through the Virginia School Board Association Business Partners. Estes Brothers, Food City, and Lawson Building Supply. Estes Brothers, as you're aware, helped us significantly with the wrestling renovation of that room above the locker room. Lawson Building Supply was instrumental in getting the clocks added at the Thomas Walker football field last year, and Food City helps us on a regular basis with a variety of things. So I want to recognize those 3 entities at the state level for what they provide here locally. So administration recommends these resolutions. We will forward these with your approval to the School Board Association, and they'll receive recognition.
Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
I make a motion to approve the resolution for the businesses of Estes Brothers Construction, Food City, and Lawson Building Supply.
Mr. Hines seconds. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the resolution for business recognition for Estes Brothers Construction, Food City, and Lawson Building Supply Incorporated, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Action, if any, on E. Anyone?
On this, administration is recommending we add 2 phrases to each one of the salary scales that you approved 2 weeks ago at the public hearing for fiscal year 20. And this is just to clarify some, I'm going to say, communications between staff. And I'm not going to read them to you, but the first one basically says that salary scales are approved annually. And you can look back 10 years and compare, steps between back and forth, but it's an annual approval that's made by the school board with administration's recommendation. So this is basically just saying that that's not a guarantee for something that was done 5 years ago or 3 years ago. It's something we look at annually based on the funds that are coming in. The second statement is that if you have an advanced degree supplement, that you only get 1 advanced degree supplement, even if you have multiple contracts with us. We talked about an associate's and a bachelor's and a master's. If it's above and beyond what's required for your position, then you're going to get an advanced degree stipend. But if you have that position, and let's say a bus driver position, you're not going to get 2 advanced degree stipends, you would only get 1. So put that at the bottom of each one of our salary scales. And again, not touching anything in the salary scales, more than just adding these 2 statements at the bottom.
Which has always been done that way in the past.
I'm sorry?
Has it done that way in the past?
With these statements?
No, with the, getting 2 stipends.
We haven't always had associates.
Have we been across the board in enforcing this scale across the board in the past?
In the last 3 years, yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
we changed that.
Right.
Yes, we don't stack.
Right.
We don't stack
Right.
stipends.
Right.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Kidwell makes a motion. Mr. Hines seconds. Any discussion on the motion to add the following statements to all the approved salary scales for fiscal year 2020? Salary scales are determined on an annual basis, and salary advancement is not guaranteed. Salary increases are determined each year during the budget process and approved by the school board. And 2, only 1 advanced degree supplement will be added per employee. Employees will receive only 1 advanced degree regardless of the number of contracts awarded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
Yes, Madam Chairman, I make a motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel, Code of Virginia 2.2-3711A1, to discuss student admission, Code of Virginia 2.2-3711A2, and to discuss student discipline, Code of Virginia 2.2-3711A2.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Harbour makes a motion, and Mr. Hines seconds to go in closed session. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of going into closed session say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're in closed session.